January 6, 2021. While I was thinking of what my next project will be about, I started listening to my 80s Japanese playlist and thought, who's the most interesting person to write about? What about Mirai Takeuchi? After all, she's the face of city pop at this moment, but there are a lot of people who talked about her and her story, so it didn't make sense for me to do so. And after checking a couple of more artists, I gave up and went to sleep. And my project was put on hold for a good time. Until the 13th of January, at 2 a.m. when I was talking to one of my friends and he asked me the same question I was thinking about. What is your next project? And I told him that I'm searching for someone to talk about, although I really wasn't. So he recommended something for me, something so outrageous. He recommended that I check the city pop section on TikTok. It took me some convincing, but I did check it in the end, hoping to find something. And well, I did, kind of. I saw a video of a white suit that reminded me of the album Transit by Yasuha, and after checking if someone talked about her and her story, to my surprise, again no one did. So here we are. Yasuha is a Japanese singer-songwriter and a TV personality in Japan, which I learned that they call a Torinto. She was born 17th of January 1961 in Tokyo, Japan. Her father, Hayashiya, was the first rakugo storyteller. Rakugo is a form of Japanese verbal entertainment, where the storyteller sits on a raised platform called a kuza, as he tells a comical or sometimes sentimental story, using only a paper fan and a small cloth as props. He can stand up from the seiza position, which is the traditional way of sitting in Japan. The story has 2 or more characters, and the differences between the characters can only be depicted through the pitch, tone, and a slight turn of head. Her mother, Kayuko, was a Japanese novelist. There isn't much info about her, other than her work. Her sister, Midori, is a former actress. The most known movie that she's in is The Funeral, rated 7.1 on IMDb. When she was a child, she started learning classical music, but she couldn't enter music college, so she began pursuing a career in Japanese pop. She later married rakugo performer Kawasa in 1988 and retired from the entertainment business to support him as a wife. They later divorced in 2007, which was a big deal in Japan, because Yasuha said not so nice things about him. She also wrote a book talking about her divorce with him. In 2017, she married Mehdi, an Iranian businessman that she later parted ways with in 2018. In 1979, she began her Toronto career, appearing in numerous television and radio programs. Then, in 1981, she started her singing career with her debut song Fly Day Chinatown with Polydor Records, which she released 6 albums with. Fly Day Chinatown had moderate success, peaking at number 69 on the Oricon Weekly Singles Chart and selling 56,000 copies. Her third single, Misery No One Piece, had a lot of success. In total, she released 7 albums and 2 compilation albums. She also wrote songs for other artists. Disclaimer: the following is purely subjective and is based on my own opinion. She released 7 albums, but I'm gonna only talk about the first one for the sake of time. The first album she released was Transit in 1981. The album is a mix of Japanese pop and jazz, which were the main Japanese genres in the 80s. The album has a good mix of jazz in it, but doesn't have that much of a mix in the song structures. And the songs are not that different from most Japanese songs from the 80s. So if you haven't listened to any 80s music from Japan, this is a good starter for you. There are some experimental songs in the album that I enjoyed listening to, like the 5th song, named Kuruchu Baranku. It breaks the routine of the album with some new elements. Also, the song Alice No Restaurant was also a nice change. It reminds me of American jazz from the 70s and 80s. And the last song, Remember Summertime, is a good finale for the album, with a nice mix of instruments, being violin, piano and harp. I highly recommend listening to the album. It's a great starter album if you want to check the genre of Japanese music. After listening to it, I recommend checking out Tatsuru Yamashita to experience Japanese funk music at its finest. Today is Yasuha's birthday, so happy birthday and good luck with future plans. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe everyone.